I want to do something a little bit different today. I want to take you on a little trip because I love making gardening content, but I also want to take you out into nature and show you different places that maybe you haven't been to. And this is a really unusual one for me. I'm in South Carolina at the moment. I've been over here with Ryobi. They brought out a load of creators to kind of come and look at their facilities here. And I was supposed to go home today. It's Friday today. We're supposed to go home. But I never come to South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina certainly isn't on my list of places that I ever would really think to go. You get lots of places like, New York and San Diego and Florida and California. That's kind of the big ones that I would think of if I was thinking of a Brit going abroad to the USA. I've taken a trip today. I was staying in Greenville, and I've taken a trip up to Jones Gap, which is a national park, I believe that's what they call it. And today we're going to walk the Rainbow Falls Trail. This is the one that, when I was speaking to people in Greenville, they were all suggesting this is the trail to do. It's 3 hours out and back, but I've been told this is going to give me a really good idea of the national park, because as you'll see, I mean, we've got some wide open spaces here in the UK, but I mean, look at this map. I'm going to do this tiny section. I'm going to walk from that little house there up the Rainbow Falls Trail, and that's going to take me 3 hours, but there is all of this. So yeah, come with me. We'll have a look around together and get to experience a little bit of this part of the world which I certainly have never been to. This is part of a longer trip for me, so as soon as I finish here, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to, hang on, I need to make sure I'm not going to veer off the wrong way. I'm on blue. Yes, that's right. Get back in the car and go to Charlestown. Again, I've been told that if I'm in the south, I should see Charlestown. From there, I'm going to travel back up to Charlotte, where I'll spend the night. Hopefully see a little bit of Charlotte as well. And then I'll be on my way home. This is how they keep you on track. They've got these markings on the trees to tell you, I guess, the path that you're on, just to make sure you stay on track. Because I mean, this place is, well, as I showed you on the map earlier on, this place is absolutely huge. I'm not even on the trail yet, but it's already completely stunning. I've been told, or I read, that the thing I need to be looking out for here are bees or wasps, and they could be in the ground or the tree. Ooh, spied it. They could be in the tree or the ground, and apparently they're quite defensive of their homes, as you would expect any insect to be. Let's be honest, that's not new news. I did bring bug spray with me, but the only thing when I researched this area, the only thing Google told me was you want to be aware of mosquitoes. I haven't seen one mosquito the whole time I've been on this trip, but apparently bees, bees and wasps are the thing to be looking out for. I don't know if that's just a warning or if they are really quite prevalent. So the plan is to do a bit more of this kind of content, to do longer form like this, out in nature, out in the wild. It's not going to be, a lot of it's not going to be in America. Most of it's going to be in the UK, obviously, at RHS locations, flower shows. We've got Chelsea 2026 coming up in a few weeks, so I'll be doing a bit of chat from there as well, but maybe just cooking around the national parks in the UK. But also to do that longer form, just being with me in the garden, being with me while I do the Chelsea chop. We're at the turning point, so I think this is me. Rainbow Falls to the right, and yet there's the red markers. That must mean that is for me. Good to see that says very strenuous. That was not made clear to me. The couple of people I'd spoke to back down in Greenville was just like, oh yeah, it'd be lovely. It's the best representation of the area. They forgot to mention it's very strenuous. But I am on the route at least. So let's see how strenuous this is, I guess. So I know I've only been on the trail now for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. But it doesn't feel that dissimilar to a UK park. Obviously, it's much more widespread, sprawling. It's more wild than a lot of the places I've ever been in the UK. But I guess climate-wise, it's very similar. Hello, Pooch. It's very similar, I guess, to where where I am in the UK, certainly. But as the name would suggest, there should be a waterfall. I mean, there's a lot of water coming down beside me. Still getting used to this camera. There's a lot of water coming down beside me. So hopefully that is a good indication that I am indeed on the correct path. I am constantly checking the trees for these red markers. My one concern, being in a different country, there is no telephone cell, whatever you want to call it, reception here at all. Literally, as soon as you get to the car park, you're cut off, which is a wonderful thing if you want some time alone. But like I said, being in a country that is not my own, I prepared. I brought snacks and water and all those sorts of things, but if I were ready to get in trouble, which I don't think I will on a 3-hour hike, I'm not over-egging what I'm doing, to be clear, then to be honest, I would just have to hope that someone would find me on the trail, right? I've got a map. I'm not a total idiot. I like to think so, at least. But I think this is going to be a good adventure. Whenever I come to the States, I'm always with family. So this is my first time out in the forests of the US, and I'm delighted. I'll be honest, I didn't sleep all that well last night at all. I think I was nervous about coming. Not just here, but the whole thing. Picking up the car, going to the airport alone, picking up the car, driving out here, driving back down. Just logistical things. And these views are... Oh no, I keep zooming when I mean to pan. These views are just incredible. If you're wondering why I'm struggling with this camera, excuse me, I've just eaten a granola bar and that is stuck right in my throat. I've just got, this is the, if you're interested, the DJI Osmo 4 camera. And I've always filmed everything on my phone. Everything. All of the content I've ever made for the last 3 years since I've started being a content creator, it's always been made on my phone. And that's worked really, really well. But you have problems with storage and quality, and well, there are limitations. So I thought I'd invest in this piece of kit, especially to do the longer form content, which I plan on doing. And it was really interesting to listen to some of the Americans I was with. They can't get this camera. Apparently the administration that's in now has put blocks in place for Chinese products, of which DJI are one, but they can't get this, they can't get the drones. Apparently they can buy the pre-existing stock, but anything that's new, they can't get hold of, which is, that's passed me by. If I am honest, I'm one of those people that, don't get me wrong, I'm aware largely of the things that are happening in the world, but I don't turn the news on every single day. I don't follow this stories that are happening, breaking all the time, because I can't remember who I was listening to, but it really resonated with me. We weren't necessarily meant to know everything that's going on around the world all the time. I don't think anyway. And this podcaster or person was saying the same, because there's so many things happening around the world that you just can't influence, and if it's going to get you down. Oh, this is picking up now. Nice steady staircase going up. If you can't influence the things that are going on, it only brings you down, then why are you doing it to yourself? And don't get me wrong, again, I am all for supporting and helping people wherever I can, but when it makes you ineffective because maybe you're lower at the state of the world, then I don't necessarily think that's a good idea. For me, each to their own, obviously. And if that's your jam, that's your jam. This is a bit beautiful. How lovely. These are the first flowers I've seen. I've not, oh, that was a mosquito. I am now wondering if I should have put that bug spray on. So now I see why this is class is challenging, and I hope I'm not complaining too early. And this isn't the most challenging part at all. Steep incline happening here. So I'm so grateful for these red markers, because it's not strictly cut through. You could find yourself going off in different directions. Content creation can be quite lonely. For me, up until now, it's been a process of script in the evening. So I then go out in front of a camera. I know what I need to do the next day. I'm not faffing around thinking, what should I say? Because obviously all the edits that I do are tight, sharp, 45 seconds in and out. That has to come across that way. And you do it alone, in front of your camera. And then you have the inevitable questioning of yourself. Is that content hitting the mark? If it does, great. You get that little dopamine hit. If it doesn't, then hopefully you can pop that away in your head and just kind of go, oh well, on to the next one. But maybe if you get a bit of a streak of things not going so well, then that can be, and it has impacted me over the last couple of years. Never anything, too serious, but you get the thoughts of, why am I doing this at all? No one's listening. Nobody particularly cares. And that bad self-talk starts to creep in. And what I find in the corporate world is when that happens, I would talk to my peers, I would talk to my colleagues, and I would have that pick me up. But you don't get that with this. So I've just seen my first bee. I don't think it was one of the bees that they were suggesting I should be concerned about. Just like a fuzzy little bumblebee, so I won't be speaking too soon. I ended up eating everything that was in my pack, which again just shows how ill prepared I was for this. Not that I would, again, I don't want anybody worrying that I'm going off hiking and not being prepared. I was given, as part of my welcome package by Ryobi, a cooler bag which had a load of granola bars, water, other drinks, rehydration sachets, all that sort of thing in it. So rather than tearing through that all week, I had kept that for this trip. So that's coming very, very handy. So I've just seen a group of school children with their teacher, who has told me I'm roughly 10 minutes from the top. It's significantly flattened out now. I'm no longer walking up a vertical. So hopefully in a bit we'll see some views. I will say, those kids, they were very, very well behaved. They were all walking in a line. One of them was just being a bit noisy, and they all collectively were basically telling this kid to get in line and, stop misbehaving. But I don't think you would get that in English schools. I mean, that certainly never happened to me when I was in school. If you tried to adjust someone else's behaviour, well, then you would be a target. American schooling system, well done. Well, certainly that class anyway. They all seem like nice kids. Ooh, little bug. So you can probably hear this by now, if it's been picked up on the mic. But we are here. There it is. Obviously I've got a little bit more to go to get up top, but there it is. I'm so, so glad I took this trip. Like I said, I was a little bit nervy about doing something solo like this away from the general public. But this has been fantastic, and everybody I've met along the way has been really nice. And this is definitely my first waterfall. Like I said, I've seen other falling water, but this has to be my first and best proper waterfall. So if you've stuck with me until the end of this first video, my first ever YouTube video, thank you all so much for sticking around. And I guess I've got to say, because this is my first YouTube video, please do feel free to like and subscribe. I can't guarantee that I'm always going to be taking you to national parks. Sometimes it'll be RHS estates in the UK, sometimes it'll be flower shows, sometimes it'll be in my own garden doing the weekly tasks and maintenance while we just have a chat. But I'd love to have you along on that journey with me as I start doing this long form content. So now I have to do the hour and a half back down the hill, which has got to be a lot easier than it was coming up. I definitely think those people that recommended this to me knew that this was a harder trail. I don't regret it. It's been worth it. So off I go. And thanks very much.